Hello everyone, it's Jack from Visual Effects Huts. So today we want to have a look at a piece of footage that we've got, and the green screen is terrible, so it won't work just because the light is coming through and it's creating so much variation that it would never really be a very good job. So what can we do? So we can use the AI Rotobrush for this. So let's, without further ado, just put our footage into a comp and then double click in it. So what we need to do is we just need to click on Rotobrush up here and then start colouring in green the stuff that we want to keep. See if we can get rid of this window as well. Alt click the stuff that we don't want. So this wouldn't really be salvageable using traditional green screen techniques, so this is the next best thing using automation. Obviously you can manually rotoscope, but that would take ages for a shot like this. So then we just need to jump through a few frames and just make sure that we're still getting a lovely cut all the way through. Actually, if we just start looking at this clip, so we can see it's still cut out neat, so we can carry on going along. A good tip for this sort of thing as well is After Effects likes ProRes files. So this is an MXF file straight out of camera, which is a lot slower at processing. So if you feed it a ProRes, it does deal with this a lot quicker. Still looking very neat. Any errors? Nope, quite happy with that. So then let's assume that the whole thing is good to where we want it to be. We will then just cut our clip so it's not going on forever. And let's just freeze that. So then we just have to wait, and it's just literally cutting that out frame by frame for us, and we can quickly watch it as well, and we can stop it as well at any point to see if it's messing up or not doing a very good job. So now we have a lovely masked image. So you can see that it's done a much better job of cutting out than we would have had if we had tried to use traditional keying methods. It's an awful shot, and it's an awful green screen. So the next things that we can do to just improve this a little bit, we'll ignore the mirror for this example, but we can just make sure that we've not got anything transparent here, which we would have done if we'd probably green screen, because that's overexposed. First off, we can, if we just put advanced spill suppressor and just drop that on, we can see that the green's gone, so that's nice. But we need to turn that off and put an effect after this, first. And what we're going to use is we're going to use because it's blurry in the background, we're going to have to use a refine soft matte. So we're just going to drop that on before the spill suppressor, and then it can already see that it's pretty much done a great job just without doing anything. So it's just tucking those edges in and makes them look a lot nicer. So we're going to want to put chatter reduction on so it doesn't jigger around. And we can actually play with the edge, but actually, to be fair, that looks pretty nice, so I'm not going to change anything, I don't think. And then we can just put our advanced spill suppressor on again, and there we go. We've got a shot that we can actually salvage and use now, which we wouldn't have done with traditional methods. Just to finish this off, let's just include some driving footage, which can either be actually filmed, it can be AI driven now, because if it's going to be blurred nobody'd notice if it wasn't perfect, or it can be stock. So we're just going to bring this up here, and what I want to do is I just want to position it so it looks a little bit realistic. We'll add a curves effect, and we'll add a lens blur. So the other thing I would like to do is add a warp, and just on this I just want to get this footage here and curve it just a little bit, just to help sell that illusion that it's probably a little bit refracted. So we can really shape that background plane. And then what we want to do is probably boost it just a little bit, because although the car is dark, we have got an overexposure here, so it would mean that it would need to be pretty bright outside. Obviously this is not a very nice shot because it looks front lit as well, because it must have been a really cloudy day. And then we just use the camera blur, almost default settings, so it's just subtle. It's subtly blurred that a little bit, but I quite like a little bit more depth field than that. So if we just go 9, maybe too much, probably split the difference. So if we put 7.5, as long as edges are looking okay, they're not looking great, but they're much better. The fact that it's got that detail in the hat, I wouldn't know how to do that with green screen, given how bad it is and how noisy this footage is as well. So it's done an incredible job. So if we just want to play that through now and see where it's looking. The beauty of this technique as well with the Rotobrush is you can move the color grading afterwards, so it's done all the hard work. You can bring it down and change the way it's graded because it's already done the cutting out, which is great. So you can really crank the values for helping it cut out and then pulling it back down, because we kind of want to try and get rid of some of that overexposure if possible. Maybe lift the shadows a little bit more, make it a little bit nicer. That blue is extremely strong. So that looks like a much nicer shot now, more usable. And then I guess the other thing is just press Ctrl Y on the keyboard and make a black solid. If we pick the ellipse tool, double click, invert, and because it's already dark, we kind of just want to direct these, not the glass so much, just to like kind of really hone in on that subject. Blur the edge like so, change it to a soft light and bring the opacity down to about 50%. It's a very subtle trick, but it helps tuck it in and makes it a little bit more cinematic. This is looking blue. The whole footage is looking blue actually. So to do that in After Effects, which isn't the best way to do it, better in Resolve, but if we just select this blue colour, kind of widen that range a little, all the blue now we can just pull down a little bit. Let's just refine that mask, soften it a little bit, and then we'll make it more green because we've got green outside. So if we -20 that, and probably 20 in terms of temperature to make it warmer looking, it's making it more brown, and it's definitely neater than that blue. It's more natural looking. So yeah, that's how we get that shot actually usable from bad green screen footage. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-compose our footage. Now we're happy with it, pre-compose, move attributes into comp, and I'm going to call this GS for green screen. Then we're going to use a plugin called Creates Light Wrap, which is free. And on the background we're going to pick the drive, and we can clearly see that it's like adding this little subtleness. We just wanted to be super subtle with this effect. Blend with original. It is all about the subtlety. Don't go crazy with it, just a little bit. and it'll help make that look a bit more realistic. So we've gone from this to this. Sorry, I know that I said that was the last trick. What I'm going to do now is quickly flip the background upside down, mask it so that it's just covering over just a bit of the part of the face for a little bit of variation. Really crank up the blur, this time using fast blur instead of camera blur, and this is just a bit faster and less intensive. And then we just want to blend it with soft light and then just reduce the opacity, and then that just creates a little bit of variation. So there we go, we've got slight variations in lighting now, this is good for ambient or cloudy days. Obviously, if you're wanting to do more street lights and stuff like that, it's probably better to have a light gag outside, someone spinning it round on a tripod, or just spinning a light stand round, or anything to kind of create the look of passing lights. But on a cloudy day, it's a bit more difficult to get a bit more variation. So this is a quick little trick that I found is quite useful. Now you can see pockets of light constantly changing. It's very subtle, and you can use different blending modes if it's not quite cutting it for you, but it just allows a bit more variation. So this is an extreme example of it not being that good and not very useful. So you do really need it to be quite subtle. So pushing that down there. More subtle is definitely better. So hopefully you found this useful, and the fact that Rotobrush is pretty powerful in combination with other tools like the refined soft matte. And yeah, hope you find it useful, and catch you on the next one.